today's video, we're going to sand, stain, and finish a couple of projects we've recently built, our workbench and our miter saw table.
We'll start off by sanding this workbench down to 120 grit, then we'll step it on up to 220. We're going to rub it down with some Danish oil. We'll finish off with a little bit of lacquer.
Let's go ahead and get started.
We're going to be using our random orbit sander, but if you want to sand this thing by hand, be my guest. It'll take you longer, trust me. Now we get to do all that again with a 220 grit.
We got a pretty late start last night, and after a lengthy round of sanding, we called it a night. But we're back today to continue our project.
First thing we have to do is get all the dust from our sander off the workbench. After that, we'll get started with the Danish oil. And now the magic happens. We have right here our Danish oil, which is basically just a mixture of oil, varnish, and thinner. And it's a natural color. And do you want to read the directions there?
Sure. With any hazardous chemical, you want to read the directions. Step 1. Use on dry wood from which all previous coatings have been removed. Sand wood smooth and wipe clean.
Feels pretty dry. I'd say we're ready to go on that.
Step 2. Shake container thoroughly.
How thorough is thoroughly anyway? Who knows? I'd say that's probably good enough.
Step 3. Flood surface using brush or cloth, applying additional finish to areas that absorb all of the liquid. Allow to penetrate for 15 minutes. So we have a dish here, and we're going to pour some of our Danish oil out in this dish and start applying. I'm excited. It'd be great if I could open it. Uh-oh. There wasn't a direction for that.
Push down. Yeah, right there's the direction.
Oh.
Push down and turn.
He can read. Thank you. Appreciate it. Are you sure it's open?
It's turning.
Does it say?
That's
Got it. It's very thin. You could always do this with some old t-shirts or some kind of rags laying around. I got kind of excited and didn't want to search through our old clothes, so picked up a small package of rags from our local hardware store. They'll work just fine. We just want to bring out the natural beauty of the plywood. And if you didn't know, plywood actually has some pretty ancient roots, dating all the way back to the Egyptians and the Greeks. And in 1797, a British naval engineer named Samuel Bentham actually conceived the idea for modern plywood, but it wasn't until 50 years later that Emmanuel Nobel invented the rotary lathe, which was used to begin manufacturing plywood.
This also doesn't have a smell that will run you out of the room either.
I don't think you should smell the rag, babe. That was one thirsty workbench.
It doesn't seem like we have any pooling of oil or anything, so I think we can go ahead and give this a second coat now.
Now with this coat, it's not going to soak in quite as quickly as the first coat, so we will have to, give it a few minutes and then make sure that we rub it down really well to prevent any kind of spotting or speckling. So other than beautifying the wood, what other purpose does Danish oil have?
Mainly protection. It will provide a barrier to moisture and anything like that and keep the wood from decaying over time.
So we can enjoy this workbench for years to come, right?
Right.
Now this workbench is 6 feet by almost 3 feet, and 1 pint of Danish oil says that it can do 50 to 75 square feet. So including the frame, we found that this is just about the right amount for this size of workbench. When you're done applying your Danish oil, you want to make sure that you lay your rags flat somewhere so they don't spontaneously combust. Well, that sounds really cool. Not so cool in the wood shop.
Well, we're back again for the third evening. We've been filming this video after work in the evening, so we don't have a whole lot of time, but this is Friday evening, and that's a little bit different.
We don't have to set our alarms and we can sleep in tomorrow. So, we're a little curious. We've been saving this miter saw table, and it's a lot smaller than the workbench. So we wonder how fast we can sand and oil the miter saw table. Let's get to work.
Well, that was fast. I don't know about you, but I'm out of gas.
Me too. Time to call it a night, but we'll be back later to lacquer.
Okay, we're back for the final number in this project. We have our workbench and our miter saw table sanded down and stained with Danish oil. Now it's time for some lacquer. You don't have to do this, but it's a personal preference just to make it a little glossy and look a little better. The lid's already pried up and ready to open.
If you've ever smelled nail polish, it's like a big bucket of it. We do have some windows open for some extra ventilation because it's a little bit loud.
Well, that's a wrap. Our workbench and our miter saw table are finally finished. We used 1 coat of lacquer, but feel free to use more if you'd like. Just wait 2 hours between each coat.
We hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wood Songs by Russell, for more great content. We're also on Facebook, so meet us over there. Hope you have a great day. Happy woodworking!